Sometimes life doesn't change with a big decision. Sometimes it changes because something small doesn't happen the way we planned. This is the story of a man whose life changed simply because the bus didn't come. Raghav was a quiet man, not unhappy, not especially happy either. He woke up every morning at 6:30, drank the same tea from the same steel cup, wore neatly ironed shirts, and walked to the same bus stop at exactly 7:40. For 12 years, the same bus carried him to the same office where he worked as a clerk, filing papers, stamping documents, and counting the hours until evening. His life wasn't bad, but it felt paused like a song stuck on one long note. Sometimes, while watching the bus window fog up on winter mornings, he wondered quietly if this was all life was, but he always shook the thought away because bills needed paying and dreams were for younger people. That morning looked ordinary. The sky was pale, the tea was warm, and the road still smelled faintly of last night's rain. Raghav reached the bus stop at 7:40 just like always, but 7:45 passed, then 7:50, and there was no bus. People started murmuring. Someone checked their watch. Another man sighed loudly. At 8 o'clock, a boy from a nearby shop came running and said the bus had broken down and there would be no bus till afternoon. The crowd groaned and slowly scattered, but Raghav stood there strangely still. For the first time in 12 years, he didn't know where to go. He could have taken an auto, he could have rushed to another stop, but something inside him felt tired of rushing, so he did something unusual. He began to walk, not toward the office, just walk. The morning air felt cooler than he remembered, and he noticed things he hadn't seen before. A woman watering plants and humming softly, a stray dog sleeping peacefully in sunlight, a group of children laughing over something completely unimportant and completely joyful. For years he had passed this road in a hurry, but today the road felt alive. After about 20 minutes he felt thirsty and stopped at a tiny tea stall he had never noticed before. Just a wooden bench, a kettle, and an old man with kind eyes. The old man asked if he wanted tea, and Raghav nodded. They sat in silence while steam rose slowly between them. After a while, the old man smiled gently and said he looked like someone who had forgotten something important. Raghav blinked and asked what he meant. The old man stirred the tea and said most people rush so much to reach somewhere that they forget to ask whether they even want to be there. The words landed softly but deeply. Raghav hadn't realized how heavy his chest had been until suddenly it felt lighter. They spoke for almost an hour, and for the first time in years, Raghav heard himself saying things aloud. How he once loved sketching buildings, how he dreamed of designing small homes, how life slowly turned those dreams into files and deadlines. The old man listened quietly and then said, "Life doesn't always give us big chances again. Sometimes it only gives us small pauses and waits to see what we do with them." Raghav looked at his watch and saw it was almost 10. He had completely missed work, and strangely, for the first time, he didn't feel guilty, he felt awake. That afternoon, Raghav didn't go back to the office. Instead, he went home, opened an old dusty box, and pulled out his forgotten sketchbook. His hands trembled slightly as he drew his first line in years. It wasn't perfect, but it felt alive. That night, instead of scrolling his phone, he searched for evening classes in basic architecture and design, and told himself just one class, just try once. Months passed and the classes became routine. The routine became passion. 2 years later, Raghav wasn't a clerk anymore. He worked with a small local builder helping design simple, affordable homes. Nothing grand, no fame, no big office. But every time a family stepped into a house he helped design and smiled, Raghav felt something he hadn't felt in years: pride, peace, and purpose. And sometimes on quiet mornings he would sip his tea and smile to himself. Because his life changed not on the day he got a promotion, not on the day he made a big decision, but on the day the bus didn't come. And sometimes the smallest interruptions in our plans are life's gentlest way of guiding us towards something better. That's all for today. If you feel stories are a great way to change one's life, consider subscribing the channel to support for more inspiring and life-changing stories. Thanks.